Indonesian barbecue heaven in Alameda.
The dino ribs are insane.
Come on in.
A one-of-a-kind tapas bar in San Francisco.
Salt pops, boom, 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 from the salmon rub.
And decadent brunch delights in San Mateo.
That dish always leaves clean.
Just ahead on Check Please Bay Area.
I gotta come back next time.
Pass the rib.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Leslie Sabraco. Welcome to Check Please Bay Area, the show where Bay Area residents review and talk about their favorite restaurants. Now we have 3 guests, and each one recommends one of their favorite spots, and the other 2 go check them out to see what they think. Joining me at the Check Please table today, our marketing director, Adam Rissman, mental health wellness director, Amal Greenwood Goodwin, and analyst, Noelani Materi. Welcome, everyone. Are you ready for a good show?
Yes.
All right. Adam grew up in Texas, so when it comes to barbecue, he's got some pretty strong opinions. Lately, he's been raving about an Indonesian barbecue spot he claims has the best smoked meats west of the Panhandle. Located in Alameda, it's Fikscue Craft Barbecue.
Fikscue Craft Barbecue is an amazing experience of Texas craft barbecue along with Indonesian dishes.
Your smoked brisket marquerie, your nasi goreng, your rendang plate.
And it's halal.
Rekha's always been cooking at home, and then one day we had an argument. She didn't want to cook, so I figured, let me learn how to cook my own self in the backyard. Just one bowl of beef, man?
I was actually really shocked because he's never in the kitchen with me, and all of a sudden he started doing dry rubs, rotisserie chicken, you name it.
Yeah, I was on a mission to prove her wrong. I would practice on cooking brisket, and there were a lot of leftovers.
Yes.
That's when she comes in and say, let me redo this into an Indonesian dish. That's how it all started, basically. With Texas barbecue, time and patience, I would say, is the key. Brisket is kind of delicate. If it's a little under, it's going to be a little tough. If it's a little over, it could be a little mushy. That balance in between is what we're looking for.
We call it the jiggle.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. I need 2 people to carry it.
My recipes came from my mom, but of course I made it my own. One of our most popular dishes is the rendang plate. It has over 20 different spices. It takes 3 days to cook it.
There's going to be a line, just like a traditional Texas barbecue spot. Welcome, welcome. Normally people start coming like before we open at 12, 11:30 or whatnot, and it became 11, became 10:30, became 10. I think the record holder now is 9 o'clock. Welcome, this is our smoked brisket.
When you're in line, you're waiting for that door to open. I see people mingle, make new friends, and that's what we love to see.
I see you got a little bit of everything. I want them to be satisfied that the line is worth waiting. That's our goal.
Awesome.
All right, yes, no, thank you, enjoy.
All right, Adam, from Texas, you got some pretty high standards, I think, for barbecue, huh?
There's a lot of good barbecue out here in the Bay, and there's a gap from really good to really, really great.
You found the really, really great.
Found the really, really great. With something that also sets it apart with the Indonesian side of the house as well.
What do you order when you go get your barbecue?
Too much food. Brisket is always the standard at a barbecue place, and part of the reason why the line exists is everything is sliced by hand by Fick when you get to the counter. And when you are ordering your brisket, you get a chance to sort of say, like, hey, I really like the lean slices of meat. I'd like the fattier cuts. I'd like some burnt ends if you have them at the right time when they pull out that fresh slab. I always go with the fatty cut myself. It cuts with a fork, gets nice and moist, and that's just all that rendered fat where all the flavor comes from. So do they have great barbecue sauce? Yes. Do you need it? I don't think so.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to see if we have some dissension or agreement over here. What about you, Noelani?
Oh, I totally agree about the brisket, but I did have to go with the sauce. I really love the orange sauce that they gave, but I also was a big fan of the jalapeno cheddar sausage. There was like real cheese that oozed out of it. And again, with the orange sauce is the way to go.
Is the way to go. Amal, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I was really impressed with the service. They got it down to a T. When you get your order, they prepare it perfectly. They know what to do. The dino ribs are insane. I got like a smaller dino rib. It was still over a pound on the scale. It's per pound, and you have to get minimum one, but like that might be the maximum you need because they are huge, but that meat just falls off the bones, super tender. I agree with Adam that you don't need sauce, but the sauce is super delicious. It's got the nice Indonesian spices in the barbecue sauce. If they bottled that barbecue sauce, I would get it for sure. So it just all goes super well together.
I missed out on the dino rib. I guess they sold out, but I did want to try it because it really looked like a dinosaur's ribs. They were huge. I saw a whole family just sharing one. I'm like, okay, I got to come back next time.
Pass the rib.
Yeah.
So the brisket I did get on the rendang plate, which comes with some crispy rice crackers and other sides and a fried egg, like a combination of textures and flavors that all go super well together. And so that one came with a little green sambal sauce. That's what I dipped my brisket in. And I thought that combination of the brisket with the sambal was really good.
So smart. I love that rendang plate. To me, that's kind of where the Indonesian and barbecue sides really come together, because rendang is typically like maybe a chuck roast, right? Something that cooks very slowly, shreds apart, and it takes days to make this curry that this meat is cooked in, but it's the chopped smoked brisket that's in there instead. So it adds that extra level of smokiness into the earthy rendang curry. And then what'd you think of that curried kale that comes on the side? Because I loved that.
That was super good. Lots of flavor. Such a good texture for kale, because kale can be kind of tough, but the kale curry was super tender, easy to chew and enjoy all the flavors.
I also had the chicken, which was the thigh and the leg, which of course is the best part. It's the juiciest part. It was really good with a crispy skin, with pepper, and I'm a huge pepper fan, and the coleslaw. I'm not usually a fan of coleslaw or peanut sauce, which is in it, but this worked. The peanut flavor was not overpowering. It was really subtle, and they had these little crunchy things in it, so the texture paired really well with the chicken.
It's a good counterpoint.
Yeah.
So on the Indonesian side, the batagor is a favorite for my family when we go. That's these fried vegetarian dumplings that are tossed in this rich, spicy peanut sauce, the same sauce they use on the slaw. The dumplings are delicious themselves, but that sauce, like whatever we can find that we still have on our plate, we're using to get the rest of that peanut sauce.
What else should they get?
Did anyone have the nasi goreng, the fried rice?
I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is my favorite go-to side. It's got these little bits of corned beef in there that give it like a little like fermented funkiness. There's egg in there, fresh vegetables. I have to get that every single time.
Now, did you have anything to drink alongside that to wash that down?
When I went, it happened to be Indonesian Independence Day, and so they had a rose soda, which was really interesting. I liked it because it was pink, and I happened to be wearing pink, so it matched my outfit. Of course. But it was a really unique flavor, and it was refreshing.
So it is right next door to a brewery. Convenient, you can bring the food inside, and then a nice IPA pairs really well with barbecue.
Right, so you can take it over there and go sit down.
Exactly, yes.
Any dessert or dessert drinks?
Did I have room for dessert? Absolutely not. Did I still order banana pudding? Yes. It was worth it. That sort of smooth texture from the banana pudding was just a really nice kind of change of pace from the meatiness of barbecue. There was fresh slices of banana in it, that one sort of classic vanilla wafer on top, a little bit of crumbled wafer as well.
So I did have a kind of dessert-like drink called a sendal, which had pandan flavors and coconut milk and tapioca, things you could chew on that had good texture and were also sweet. And so I think it was a great dessert, and I really enjoyed it.
And do you feel like with all that food that you got, good value?
Definitely, yeah. The food that we ordered, just my friend and I, we had extras that I brought home, and my mom could try it. And similarly, she lived in Texas too, and she thought it was good as brisket in Texas that she's had, so it definitely reaches the bar.
Yeah, you definitely have to be there early, though. Like, I was there on a Saturday at 1:30, and things were selling out. So it's no joke that they say line up early if you want all your pickings, because they sell out fast.
All right, well, if you would like to try Fikscue Craft Barbecue, it's located on Park Street in Alameda, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $55. Step inside the Pawnshop facade of Noelani's restaurant, and you'd think you're in the wrong place.
Well, hello, gorgeouses.
Once you're through the hidden door, though, you'll find the speakeasy vibe, Art Deco bar, and the creative Spanish-inspired bites all set the stage for a memorable night out. Located in San Francisco's Soma neighborhood, it's the Pawnshop.
The
Pawnshop is an experiential speakeasy. Once you walk through these doors, it's like you're on a different planet. We are located on the corner of 6th and Mission. It was a pawn shop for 40 years. It was called Money Loaned. We still have the sign up above.
Hello, gorgeous. Welcome. Let's see what you got.
So when you come to the pawn shop, you have to bring either a tchotchke or a family heirloom if you want to.
Robert, chicken, how did you know I needed a new one in my life? I love it.
A joke, a dance, bring something to the pawn master. Because if you don't do that, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Use chapstick.
The craziest thing we've ever been given was when somebody brought in a kitchen sink. We were like, really? Everything and the kitchen sink?
If I push a few buttons, do a little this, a little of that, it should be ready to go. Come on in. Welcome to the pawn shop.
I come from a French background, and I'm from the south of France. We used to go to Barcelona for the night just to go party and have a good time. And when we built the space, the way we wanted to do it is the communal eating. And how we do that back in Spain, it's loud, there's joy. The food that we have here, we chose to have tapas, the small plates meant to be shared. We took all these stars from the Catalan and the Spanish culture.
Tomato, olive oil, just a little garlic. Oh.
So the classic pan con tomate, the octopus, the pulpo a la plancha, the gambas al ajillo, which is also exceptionally classic.
One thing that's great about Pawnshop is that we are open till 11 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, and there's not a lot of restaurants in San Francisco that are staying open that late. In the pawn shop, too, there's a lot of little Easter eggs and things that are super fun. So there's a mirror over there. We can watch your friends come in. There's a karaoke room. There's secret passageways that'll take you to a different spot.
And away they go.
There's performances that will happen when you're least expecting it.
We put sun in their life. We put smile on their face. We're on stage when we're here. And I see the light on their face, I'm like, let's get the shiver right now. I'm like, yes, we did it.
All right, Noelani, how did you find the secret door?
I found it by accident, to be honest.
So you walk up to the door.
Yeah.
Take us through it.
So you walk up to the door, you're first confused because you're like, wait, this is a pawn shop.
Well, hello, everybody. Hello.
You're not thinking that it's a restaurant.
Yeah, I got there early, so I was there before the restaurant was open. I'm just like hanging out on Mission in front of this store. I'm like, am I in the right place? Am I even gonna have dinner tonight?
But that's kind of the fun of it, is not even telling someone the name of the restaurant. It's just giving them an address, and then they're kind of confused.
I found the pawn master to basically be a method actor. You don't know what questions you're going to be asked. Is this a 10-second exchange, or am I going to have to navigate 5 minutes of conversation that's a little tricky to get in?
All right, what do you go for?
Okay, so it's tapas style. I really like the gambas al ajillo, garlic shrimp. The shrimp is in garlic and butter. You can't go wrong with that. And on top of it, they give you bread. So the minute the shrimp are gone, everyone's fighting for the bread to dip it in the sauce.
I'm glad you mentioned that shrimp. That was, to me, the most standout dish. It's these delicately poached shrimp in this sherry vinegar broth, and then they have these thinly mandolin-sliced garlic chips floating around in the broth, and I didn't discover those right away, and then as soon as I did, I was just spooning that over the top of the shrimp.
That dish always leaves clean.
Right.
Also, another favorite is the patatas bravas. Can't go wrong with crispy potatoes and sauce.
Yeah.
All right, what about you, Amal?
I was really excited for the pulpo a la plancha because I love octopus. That was grilled to perfection and had a nice pickled veg and a squid in aioli. That all went really well together.
And it's fun doing tapas style in an atmosphere like this, certainly.
Yeah, it's fun to have so much on your table. It's be a little bit overwhelming if you overdo it, like we maybe did. But I really loved the tortilla española. It was, the classic egg omelet, although it was really elevated from there. It had this spoon of creme fraiche on top, and then a really generous portion of salmon roe sprinkled on top, as well as these crunched potato chips. So texturally, you had this soft egg, the sourness of the creme fraiche, and then these salt pops, boom, 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 from the salmon roe. It was really nice.
And what did you drink with it?
I had some very good wine. I was impressed by the amount of options they had by the glass, more choices than you typically have. And I wanted to go to the Tempranillo because we're in a tapas restaurant.
You're in Spain. Yeah,
I did have the seasonal sangria, which had little apple cubes and sliced up citrus in it, and had a hint of clove. So it was really nice, like seasonal, fruity, slightly spicy with the clove.
And sangria goes with every dish on the table.
Yeah. So I also wanted to mention the vegan chicharron.
Okay.
They're huge, but they're like wafer thin, and they're salty and crispy and sweet, and like almost better than regular chicharrones.
That's good.
And I also had the duck pate, and that comes with some cherries and some herbs. Also the little toast, so you can make a little bite with the pate and the cherries and herbs. That's just a perfectly composed little bite that you make yourself.
So a must-get dish is the hanger steak. It comes with potatoes and mushrooms. First of all, the steak is cooked to perfection, seasoned well, it's juicy, tender. The mushrooms are a beautiful accompaniment, and then the potatoes, the skin is crispy but still like juicy on the inside. You just can't go wrong with steak and potatoes.
What about dessert?
Oh, I have to get the churros every time. So I went there for a birthday, and it's fun because when they brought out the churros, they sang happy birthday and had a little candle. But what I really like about the churros is that they're super light. So even if you're full, you're like, well, I'll have one just to, you know, have in my dessert stomach. And then you can dip it in the chocolate sauce, and it's just really good.
I did also have the churros, but I had the cheese dessert, which is a triple cream, kind of like a brie, but it's kind of got a bloomy rind. Then it also served with these fancy cherries and a honeycomb. I was surprised how much I loved this cheese because it was a little funky, and I don't always like funky cheeses, but it's also with a little toast with cheese, the cherries, and the honeycomb, and it was just so good. Like, cheese for dessert is just fantastic. I had dreams about that cheese that night.
I'll have to try that next time.
So do you think this is a good bang for the buck?
Totally. You leave there happy, and you leave there wanting to talk about it with your friends.
Yeah, I'd say the same. Just remember, you can always order more, so maybe don't do it. We didn't order everything at once, and from there you'll leave in a good spot.
And did you get your pawn item back on the way out?
I didn't get my pawn item back, but when I pawned my item, he gave me a different item back. I got this little robot with little guns.
Oh, there you go.
Here's my robot.
I love it. Well, if you would like to try the Pawnshop, it's located on Mission Street in San Francisco, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $40. Amal rounds out our show with yet another hidden gem. It's a quirky little cafe housed in a former Taco Bell where decadent donuts, killer breakfast sandos, and creamy milkshakes are the stuff of Amal's comfort food dreams. Located in San Mateo, it's Apple Fritter.
Apple Fritter is a homey place where you can bring your family, your friends, your kids. It's a great place for everybody.
Hi, how are you guys?
I grew up doing donuts my whole life. My parents led a war in Cambodia. They came to this country to start a new life. They had friends that had sponsored them and helped them create a donut business. A lot of times, my parents would bring me to the shop. I'd sneak myself into the donut counter, steal an apple fritter, and then take a huge bite before they found out. The restaurant used to be at old Taco Bell, and growing up, I used to come here all the time. And I actually thought, oh, maybe I'll open up this place and eventually convert it into maybe a breakfast place. The inspiration for the decorations really came from who I am. I like strange, unique kind of things. I like having fun. We actually make all of our donuts in-house. People don't realize a lot of the times we have more than just an apple fritter. So we have like chocolate donuts, ube, a red velvet, almond pistachio, even plain old fashions, really. Surprisingly, they're good. The breakfast Luther, it came from this cartoon. I thought it was the funniest thing ever, and they incorporated a donut burger. The Luther! I decided to actually create it, and eventually it became a hit.
Fruity Pebbles.
As a child, I loved Fruity Pebbles, and one of my favorite creations was probably adding it to the milkshakes, because why not?
This is really good.
I really love what I do. I come to work and it doesn't feel like work. It's one of the greatest feelings when people come to your restaurant, bring their friends in, and just have a good time.
All right, Amal, do you like breakfast, or are you a breakfast every day kind of guy?
Yeah, I love getting a really full, big breakfast. It's always the best.
And this place has it all, doesn't it?
It does. My favorite dish is the Luther breakfast burger. It's a burger on a donut with a fried egg, fried perfectly. When you bite into it, the yolk oozes out of the top of the donut onto the plate, and you can dip your hash browns in the egg. It's so good.
I was scared to order that just because I'm like, donut, burger, heart attack? No, but I'm so glad that I did, because it ended up being my favorite dish that I ordered, and I ended up sharing it, so it wasn't too much, but it was really good. I never would have thought to do that, but the salty and sweet combination.
Does the donut get soggy?
They grill the donut.
No, they.
Oh, okay, there you go.
They grill it, so it held really together, and just the flavors were really, really good.
All right, what did you have, Adam?
So I got cold feet on the donut sandwich, but the reason for that, which I think is very valid, is right before you get to the register where you order, there is essentially a wall of donuts, and there are just so many amazing donut options.
Did you get the apple fritter?
I had the blueberry fritter.
Okay.
It was large enough for 4 of us to share. Everyone kind of pull apart their individual piece, and it had that thick glaze that kind of cracks just the way you want it, but then the inside of the fritter was super cakey and soft.
Yeah, you can't leave there without getting an apple fritter. They do sell out, so hopefully you can get one while you're there, but if you're there, definitely get an apple fritter. I'm a scramble girly, so I had to get the chicken apple sausage scramble, and usually when you go to places it's like maybe a couple pieces, but this was like overwhelming with how much sausage that they put in, as well as spinach and everything, so the portions are really nice. And we also had sandwiches. The bread that they put with the sandwich is really spectacular.
Did you get any sandwiches? Or
Well, yeah.
You stuck? Okay.
I had the Pigs Gone Wild sandwich, and it was really good. It had that toast that you mentioned, and then 3 pieces of flat chopped griddled bacon. There were grilled mushrooms on there, fresh eggs, cheese, and to me, what can make or break a breakfast sandwich is really how hot it is when it gets to the plate. And this came straight off that grill onto our table, and when you bit into it, the crunch from the bacon, the soft eggs, the gooey cheese, it was kind of everything all at once. It was awesome.
Is that a sandwich you get?
I have not had that sandwich, but I also do get lunch there sometimes. Like, I really like their racial. It's like a Reuben, but with turkey instead of pastrami. And it's really good, and I get that with their homemade potato chips. I don't know if you guys got a chance to try the homemade potato chips, but so yeah, they're really good for lunch too.
And I hear the milkshakes or something.
They are. I had the pineapple milkshake. It was tart and sweet and creamy, super delicious. They make all their milkshakes with frozen custard, so they're super good.
I had the espresso milkshake, which was really great because I can't have breakfast without coffee. Good flavor, and I got 2, split between a number of people, wasn't just me. The banana one, really great, fresh banana, nothing artificial tasting in it. It would definitely have passed the old Dairy Queen test where if you lift it upside down, nothing was coming out, right? But it wasn't so thick that it was a lot of work to actually enjoy the milkshake.
Okay, maybe it's a little too thick.
It was awesome.
I'm really dreaming about that pineapple milkshake now. I gotta be honest with you.
But they do have a good espresso coffee bar, and I usually get the vanilla lavender latte that's not too vanilla-y or too lavendery, and they're all made super hot.
I'll say that the Nutella French toast, that is dessert on a plate because it's so decadent, and I really liked that they even took the time to cook the bananas, which most places don't do that, but here it really brought out the flavors. Everyone loves Nutella, so putting that, bananas, powdered sugar on a French toast, if you have a sweet tooth, that's the way to go too.
Even if you don't have a sweet tooth when you walk into this place, you will have one when you walk
for
out,
sure.
right?
For sure.
If you live nearby, you'd be there a lot more, right?
Even if you don't live nearby. It's a good place, especially after a night of drinking, and you want a good meal to get you up and ready for the weekend. It's a good place.
It's your splurge spot.
You might take the long way to the airport just to circle through there and grab a shake before a flight.
Yeah.
All right, if you would like to try Apple Fritter, it's located on Norfolk Street in San Mateo, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $20. Looking for more Bay Area bites you've just got to try? Check out Cecilia Tries It online at kqed.org/check, please. I have to thank my great guests on this week's show. Adam Rissman, who devours the dino beef ribs at Fikscue Craft Barbecue in Alameda. Amal Greenwood Goodwin, lover of the breakfast Luther donut sandwich at Apple Fritter in San Mateo. And Noelani Materi, who gave us the inside scoop on the Pawnshop in San Francisco. Join us next time when 3 more guests will recommend their favorite spots right here on Check Please Bay Area. I'm Leslie Sabraco, and I'll see you then. Cheers.
Yay.
Cheers.
And cheers to you. Did you have fun?
Yes.
Cheers.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by Graham's Port has been family-owned and operated for over 200 years. Available at vintage and finewines.com or your local fine wine retailer. The Bay Area airport that's close and reliable. iFlyOAK.com.
Our orthopedists specialize in getting patients back out there sooner, whether they're scoring goals or achieving new ones. Sutter Health.
Bravery, caring, kindness. And that's what we live by at SF Fire Credit Union. SF Fire Credit Union, rescuing you from banks.
Crab House at Pier 39 is a family-owned restaurant featuring Dungeness killer crab, shellfish platters, and crab fried rice. Crab House serves fresh, sustainable seafood with stunning views of the San Francisco Bay. Located on Pier 39 in San Francisco, reservations at crabhouse39.com.
All right, now let's see. What did you bring me?
You would not believe how much stuff we get.
One time somebody tried to pawn their child off, but that was just for jokes. One time somebody tried to pawn their fiance off, that was for real.
I have a 3D printed genie bar.
I'm going to trade you for... You're going to get some love in your life.
Oh! Can never have enough.
That's going to go a long way. So we're always getting crazy stuff.
How's everyone doing?
Gorgeous.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.